Good morning. My name is Pamela Pearl, and I'm the Director of Marketing for IntelliClick Software. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time this morning to learn about IntelliClick. You may have come to us through an email marketing campaign or via the internet. If you work with a Goldmine partner, please feel free to get them involved as well. Many Goldmine partners worldwide resell IntelliClick, and in fact a lot of them use it internally. So they will also be very knowledgeable about how IntelliClick works. I wanted to, before we get started, mention a few things. I do have you on mute for the entire time. We can expect to go about 45 minutes to an hour, and feel free during that time to post questions in the questions pane on the right-hand control panel. I will plan to stop periodically and look at the questions and try to answer them as they come up. And then, as always, at the end, I will put up my contact information, and feel free to email me directly. And I can also answer any questions that you may have offline. Sometimes people have very unique situations. They want to make sure that their needs will be met. So feel free to get in touch with me after the webinar as well. First, what I want to do is just talk about the history of IntelliClick and how it came to be, and then we'll talk a little bit about email marketing in general before we go into the demonstration of IntelliClick. I think it helps to put into perspective why IntelliClick was developed, and then when you see the webinar, you'll understand. So really, IntelliClick stands for Intelligent Clicks. We developed IntelliClick software about 5 years ago, and it was released for commercial sale about 4 years ago. And the reason is that we were getting so many different Goldmine customers coming to us and saying, you know, we're working with email service providers. We are struggling to upload our data out of Goldmine, get the right stuff that we need to upload to someone else's server, and then send out an email marketing campaign and try to get the results back into Goldmine in a way that's meaningful, in a timely fashion, so that we can take action on those email marketing campaigns. Well, what was happening is the data was not coming in fluidly in real time. It was very difficult for the marketing team to be able to decipher that data and then critically get it into the hands of the sales team and then actually do something about it. So IntelliClick was designed to close all of those loops between time delays, between getting information to marketing and sales, and making sure that the data was getting into the Goldmine database. So you can see we call ourselves CRM Integrated Email and WebNav Tracking. So I want to talk about WebNav Tracking because I just touched upon the email piece, that when you send out a marketing campaign, you want to make sure that all of your opens, your click-throughs, special intelligent calls to action, which I'll show you, that come bundled with IntelliClick, you want to make sure that that is all in your Goldmine database in real time. But the other real component, the secret sauce of IntelliClick, comes in the web navigation tracking. And what that piece is when you direct clients out, prospects or customers, out to your website via an email, they're going to start to show interest in your campaigns and navigate your website. They may navigate multiple times. They may stay for a long time. They may leave and come back another day. But what is so important is that all of that website behavior get back into Goldmine in real time so that you can combine the interest tracking with the website behavior, and those two together are what we refer to as digital body language. And so that is really just an electronic picture of your prospects and customers over the internet as they are reacting to your outbound email marketing campaigns. So that is the history of IntelliClick. Now I want to talk about email marketing in general, and then we'll put the two concepts together when we do the demo. I want to also mention that today we do our demo in Goldmine Premium Edition, the latest version. If for some reason you have not upgraded yet, you'll view this as a bonus then, because you'll get to see what the Premium Edition is all about and how great it is. But in addition, if for whatever reason you are still on corporate edition 7.0 or later, IntelliClick is going to work all the way through the corporate edition versions through the latest version of premium edition. So you don't have to worry about that, and you don't need to wait to upgrade in order to implement IntelliClick. So let's start a little bit with some email marketing facts. And you don't have to read all the little details here. I highlighted the 72% and the 23% for a reason here in red. Basically, 72% of people that are doing email marketing are reporting a really good return on their investment. But of all of those people doing it, only 23% of them are actually integrating it back into their CRM database. So can you imagine the huge opportunity lost in terms of not being able to take action on that data? That is the gap that we close. And you can also imagine the advantage of doing that now and being more competitive, because the ROI of CRM integrated email marketing is much higher than non-CRM integrated email marketing. Now, when we talk about ROI, let's go to the next statistic. And I also want to point out that I try to take my statistics from very reliable sources. I don't pick out and choose for me what's good for IntelliClick. This is from the Direct Marketing Association. The average return on investment for every dollar spent for email marketing was over $40 last year. Now, you can imagine that is actually 3 times any direct mail, traditional direct mail method, which if you look at direct mail marketing, that's about $15 per dollar spent. And it's actually 4 times more mobile marketing. So for other digital marketing ways to participate in the digital marketplace, such as texting and mobile marketing, that's actually $10 per dollar spent. So you can see that either way you look at it, email marketing has a 3 to 4 times dollar return on investment for every dollar spent. Now, what goes along with that are the response rates. So Epsilon is a worldwide marketing services firm, and they do this quarterly study on email trends. When you decide to work with IntelliClick, you're going to get an invitation to join the IntelliClick Best Practices User Forum. And I facilitate that forum, and I try to post out information about email marketing in general. And this is one of the studies that I like to post. And the reason, remember, this is an average response click-through rate. But the reason I post this is Epsilon actually breaks down by industry what the industry response rates are. And it's very important for you to benchmark yourself against others in your industry in terms of what they're getting. So for example, if you were in publishing, you may only be a 3% average response rate, whereas someone in technology or software may be a 7%. So this is just an average response rate, but it's very high when you look at just average response rates, let's say for direct mail marketing, and we're thrilled if we get a 1, maybe if we're really lucky, a 2% return. And then finally, this kind of goes along with everything else, just supporting data, which is that everyone is spending their budgets, their marketing budgets are going into website and email. Whether you're doing updating the content of your website, doing SEO to drive people to your website, updating your email marketing solutions, that is all where the dollars are being spent on these digital marketing solutions. So that is the history. Now you see how IntelliClick came to be, and you see why it might make sense if you haven't been doing email marketing yet to get into the idea or the concept of doing email marketing. So I'm going to just toggle over to the premium edition. And the first thing I want to do is just orient you to the screen. And really this is for 2 reasons. One, if you're coming from an older version of Goldmine, sometimes it can be confusing. If you remember from older versions of Goldmine, you had the 4 quadrants across the top part of the screen. That actually all goes away with Premium Edition. So you don't have to worry about that. You can actually have an unlimited number of fields on the top part of the screen to track and profile your customers. And you can see here we have an example of account profiling. On the right side, we have an example of these rep click alert settings. And these 2 profiling and alert settings are something that I think are very important when it comes to IntelliClick. The first thing is that these rep click alert settings are designed for you to automatically take action right off a click. So an example of that is if someone reacted to your email campaign and they used a one-click literature fulfillment, you would automatically be able to send that literature to them. That would happen automatically in one click. But then in addition, your identified sales rep on the account could receive an alert or by email or by text, or actually you can even schedule alarmed pending phone calls automatically right to the pending tab in Goldmine. So you can see that deep level of integration. What we're doing is literally the second off the click, we're getting the assigned rep involved in what is going on so that they can take action, whether they decide to call someone, email them, however it is that they get in touch with their prospect or customer, they get to make that decision immediately because they have the intelligence to know that their prospect or customer fulfilled literature. So every time we do something with IntelliClick, it's always an intelligent thing to do to help support your sales process and to support your marketing folks who are executing these campaigns. Now what I want to do is also talk, and this will come later in account profiling. Many of you find it very important. You'll know that in Goldmine we have key fields to track and profile our customers. A lot of the reporting that you do with IntelliClick can be broken down by key fields. So when you're working with your partner to set up those fields, if it's important for you to break down email marketing campaigns by rank or by industry or territory or any other way that you want to be able to track and profile your customers, you have the ability then to really segment the marketing data as it's coming in with both real-time crystal reporting built into Goldmine as well as real-time dashboards that are built into Goldmine. And I'm going to show you all of that. I'm going to show you the reporting. I'm going to show you the dashboards. So what I want to do first is start with the Click Track tab, because this is really the key to everything. The Click Track tab is an extended detail tab, and when we install IntelliClick for you, we will install that Click Track tab, and it is going to capture all of the data from your campaigns in real time. So it's going to capture, you can see here on the left side, the date that you sent the campaign, the name of the campaign, the date and time of the person who clicked it, the person who clicked it, meaning primary or additional. You can see here that I have additional contacts on this account as well as a primary contact, and IntelliClick is designed to track both beautifully. You don't have to worry. The unsubscribes will be tracked at an email level. All the individual tracking, no matter how many contacts you have on a record, will be tracked back into the Click Track tab as you see here. And then finally, and very importantly, the type of click. So you will know instantly when someone opens it and what they've clicked on. Now, I want to go through all the different kinds of clicks because you can see that there's different clicks here, and I want to explain them all because they all come bundled with IntelliClick. So not every click is alike. Some of them are unique and more intelligent. So this is just a regular, I start with the first one, which is just a regular HTML page. I sent this person out to my website. Now remember, I mentioned that when you send out a person to your website, they may start navigating if they're interested. If they're not interested, they're going to bounce off your home page and they've already qualified themselves out and you don't want to waste time on them. But if they're interested, they're going to continue to move along your website, and all of those web navigation clicks are going to come in. So you can see they hit our digital body language page, our web nav page, our Kickstart page, and so on, alerts, and you can see. Now this holds true even if they leave and come back later, not through that original email marketing campaign. So what's really great about this is you get to decide how long you would like to track these prospects and customers as they're showing interest in your websites. And you're able to then analyze that behavior and interest to go after your top web leads, which is a very important part of our IntelliClick reporting. Now, as I continue on here, you'll see that this particular click is a newsletter confirmation click. Now, all of our clicks are designed to be able to update at a field level, meaning we could update any field in the database at a field level, such as sales, or we could update at an email merge code level for those companies that have many people on the record and they would like to do targeted, segmented email marketing. So you can see as an example here, there was an N appended inside the email merge code to reflect that this particular person had clicked on a newsletter confirmation. And that way he's actually opted into our newsletters. That's one of the examples of the intelligent clicks that I described. Another intelligent click is where someone can request an immediate phone call back. That's called a callback confirmation, and what that does is that instantly, as I mentioned before, puts that as a scheduled, alarmed phone call to the rep. That rep can also be notified by email and text message. You get any or all options off of this type of callback confirmation click. So again, another type of intelligent click. We have one-click event registration. You can see in the preview pane. By the way, for those of you that are on older versions, this is one of the things that I love about Premium Edition is this preview pane, which without double-clicking anywhere, you can just see in the preview pane what the little details of that event are. So you can see that I have the type of event, the notes, the date and time of the event. And this is also compiled in attendance tracking. So if you are the kind of company that needs to run online webinars such as what we're doing today, or you have an on-site webinar, sometimes or seminar, sometimes in conference rooms or a hotel, any of those types of events, what that will do if you decide to use the one-click event registration is it's actually going to schedule an appointment in Goldmine to a user called events, and then you can run your attendance list and then close it out so that nothing falls through the cracks. So in this particular case, if this person attended the event, I can mark that they attended, I can put in my detailed notes, I can schedule a follow-up activity, putting it right back on the pending tab. So basically, nothing is falling through the cracks, and that is really the point of the CRM integrated email marketing is we don't want anything to fall through the cracks. So we put those appointments out there for you on the pending tab so that anyone who is running those events is going to be able to get an accurate attendance list. And I'll show you, I'm going to show you our HTML editor, and I'll also show you a beautiful HTML email to kind of show you how we actually insert these kinds of intelligent clicks in here. A similar type of click is called literature fulfillment. You can see here that the system automatically sent an IntelliClick for Goldmine brochure. It's a PDF file. Right on the click, we know who those people are. They don't have to fill in a form. They don't have to save a white paper. They're instantly able to receive that into their inbox. They can reference it for later use. You can have it sent from an assigned rep. So once again, trying to nurture that relationship, they can respond to that rep with questions. So there's a lot of advantages to not just putting someone on a landing page that's a white paper, because then what you're doing is you're forcing them to save the PDF and go reference it for later use instead of just sending it to their inbox and making it easy for them. I've also seen companies that have been able to transition on forms off their website in order to be able to fulfill literature. This will allow you to remove that barrier because a lot of companies, they go out there, they hit the forms, and they don't want to fill them in. So you can have those forms for people that will fill them in, but for others you can give them the opportunity to fulfill literature in one click, and you might find that you pick up a few more people if we don't put barriers in place for them obtaining your promotional material. One thing I do want to mention, unsubscribe, absolutely automated. I know that's a very important thing. for users, especially if you've been doing email marketing with an outside solution partner and you can see that you can't get your unsubscribes back into Goldmine. It can be very frustrating. It can also get you blacklisted because it violates the canned spam law if you're not respecting opt-outs. And so what we do is when someone hits the unsubscribe button, it will put a note in the box of the email that says unsubscribe. When you execute your campaign, you will not be able to send to someone who unsubscribed. It doesn't delete that email. Importantly, we do not delete that email. That's a good email. I've had IntelliClick customers who have unsubscribed because maybe they're strictly on the technical side. They don't want to receive case studies or other kinds of materials, so they have unsubscribed. But that doesn't mean that I might not have to communicate with them on a daily basis for other purposes. So we always leave that email there. We just flag it as an unsubscribed email in the database so that you will not be able to send to them. So this is the outcome of what you get. Now let me tell you, I'll start and show you how it all begins. It all begins with HTML. For those of you that are familiar with HTML, it's easy. You can use any outside marketing services firm, Dreamweaver, template creator, high impact email, anything you want to create your HTML and essentially copy and paste it into an email template in Goldmine. So most of us know and have used templates before in Goldmine. A very simple capability within Goldmine, receives HTML beautifully. You can see an example of a campaign that we built. This particular one was just a professional campaign created. Now, there's other ways to do it. Other companies that just want straight HTML that looks like a test, you can see you can just type it in. And then a third option is something that we build into IntelliClick, which is called a WYSIWYG editor. So I'm going to open the wizard. I'll show you the template editor. The bottom line is that a WYSIWYG editor is something that you would expect to get in all email service providers, and it comes with bundled newsletter templates, bundled email marketing templates. It means what you see is what you get, and it's a very limited version of an HTML editor. So it doesn't allow you to change lots of columns, but it allows you to upload your logos and to change colors and fonts, that type of thing. It's not a full-blown HTML editor like a Dreamweaver. But IntelliClick doesn't care where you get your HTML. It doesn't care if you type it right into Goldmine, which you can. It just cares that you start with HTML because HTML is the base that allows email tracking to occur. So let's see if I'm able to get into my account today. Here it is. So you can see we bundle a number of different HTML newsletter templates, email templates. Here you can see some email templates there. And so if you want, you can very quickly get started without a worry of, oh, I don't know how to prepare HTML. With these editors, it's pretty simple. It's almost as if you're working in Word. You just can change your colors, your fonts, upload your graphics. You can upload over 200 meg of graphics, so that's a whole lot of graphics. You can get everything there. We've prepared all of the social media icons are already up there if you want to insert them and link to your Facebook page or to Twitter or LinkedIn or wherever you have different company profiles on social media. So we definitely incorporate that. Now, I want to go back here for a moment, and I just want to mention this WYSIWYG editor. Well, actually, let me kind of move to the wizard for a second. I just want to mention that the wizard itself governs everything you do from A to Z in an email marketing campaign. So it's really just kind of step 1, 2, 3. I just showed you step 1, which is you get your HTML and you paste it into Goldmine. Pretty simple. Step 2 is you want to create a hyperlink because you want to make sure that if someone opens your campaign or they click through to your website or they fulfill literature, that all of those links are going to track right back into Goldmine as I just showed you on the Click Track tab. So we also make that very simple. What we do is we basically take your raw link. You can see you have an option to create just a web page hyperlink or some of these more intelligent hyperlinks. But if I go here to the web page hyperlink, really all you're doing is converting your company URL. So if I were to go, let's say with this particular link that I'm creating, I just want to drive someone out to the IntelliClick software website. Maybe I want to drive them out to the training page or some other page, .htm. It doesn't really matter where I send them. All I'm doing is typing in that URL and clicking Next. And I now have a trackable URL that goes back to Goldmine. And as you all know, if you've been working with email templates, all I have to do is go into Goldmine in the template editor and hyperlink a word. Let's say I want special promotion to be hyperlinked, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste in what I generated out of the wizard, and now when I save and send this to someone, it's actually a trackable hyperlink that goes back to the ClickTrack tab in Goldmine. So that is step 2. We made it very simple for users. You can see I have unsubscribes and open, very similar process. You can create as many hyperlinks as you want. We go through 2 full 90-minute live training sessions with you to show you how to take advantage of all of the intelligent hyperlinks, how to properly insert them, tips and tricks for email marketing. So, you know, that is all bundled. We don't just leave you hanging. We really hold your hand so that you can get up and running and use IntelliClick successfully. Now, I just passed step 2. I'm going to go to the main menu, and basically step 3 is send. I want to talk about sending because sending is truly important. It's all wonderful if you create beautiful HTML and you've got hyperlinks in there. But if you don't have an effective way of sending it so that you're not getting trapped into spam filters or you're not making yourself vulnerable on the internet to blacklistings, there's a lot of components that go along with that, and we have built them all into this IntelliSend piece, which is the 3rd step that I'm showing you. I'm going to launch IntelliSend and load my database, and at this point it's prompting me to do database hygiene. Now, database hygiene has a number of different components to it, and all of them are critical. You can't just do one of them. You must do all of them in order to develop a good reputation on the internet. Because at the end of the day, being successful with email marketing means that you are following all of the best practices that come along with just sending out an email, a targeted email to a group. And one of them involves database hygiene. Now, you're going to see this is actually going to automatically log into an account and scrub our data. So what is this doing? It's going to the relay service, so you're not sending through your own dedicated IP address. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's an Internet Protocol address, and many companies have that for their daily communication. So their critically important business email is being sent daily. If they're going to send mass communications, you never want to send that outbound from your daily communication because you never want to risk that open communication by being blacklisted with a mass communication. So what you do is you send it through an alternate path, and that's what comes bundled with IntelliClick. And when you send that through the alternate relay service, it catches hard bounces. Those are bounces that are bad emails. They will never be good emails, and you need to get them out of your database or flag them in the database or schedule a group to call them because if you continue to send to those emails, you can have a problem getting blacklisted. Equally important, we want to send to emails that would be otherwise valid if they didn't get typed in wrong in your database. Now, I just saw a statistic last week that 1 out of 5 emails is typed in wrong in a database. So you could see here we would have an otherwise valid email if I didn't have 2 @ and I had a .com. This one would be valid if I had an @ instead of an ampersand. This particular one is just a bad email. It was put in a website. They might even have in the website, they might have an email. So the bottom line is we flagged this so that you can build groups off of them and fix this. I've had companies that have literally hundreds and hundreds. We had one just recently that had 800 of these. So you can imagine if you're sending out all these emails, that is not good for your reputation. Other things that we take care of, people can report you as spam. As you all know, many of us have, let's say, a Gmail account or a Hotmail account, and there's a spam button that you can report someone as spam. Someone may even think that they're unsubscribing. Maybe they're not even being malicious. They don't realize when they hit the spam button, they're actually reporting you to that ISP as a spammer. So what we do with IntelliClick is we make sure that if you get reported, you cannot send to that email again. So the problem is if you continue to send over and over and over to the same person that reported you as spam, that will cause a problem. So what we try to do is address that issue. Some of the other issues that we address, besides I mentioned very importantly respecting opt-outs, which we do, is that if you are coming off of other email service providers, you will be given the opportunity to load your hard bounce files and get them updated into Goldmine. You'll also be able to load unsubscribed files and get those updated into Goldmine. So what we want to do is make sure that even if you're coming off of some other solution, which many IntelliClick customers already have been working with other email service providers, that you will sort of seamlessly be able to transition over to IntelliClick without getting yourself in trouble. So we make sure that on installation that we update the database for you. Now, once you've done these things, which IntelliClick prompts you to do so that you're not going to send an outbound campaign, it then gives you the ability to load your group, load your templates, and then begin the process of actually executing and sending your campaign. So you can see from here, we can schedule campaigns. We can send from other people at our companies. For those of you that have many sales reps, you have the ability to select a group but have it uniquely send from each rep that's assigned to that record. And you can go ahead and preview and do content checkers and that type of thing. That's all built in with IntelliSend. I wanted to just show you in my inbox, I sent into Spam Assassin this morning one particular one that was, an IntelliClick educational webinar, and I got back a score. You can see here minus 1.1 out of 5. So this particular one was a minus 6 out of 5. What Spam Assassin is, for those of you that are not familiar, is it's a really widely used open source content filter across the internet. So most internet service providers will use Spam Assassin to give you a rating as to whether or not you're deliverable. So you can see that they'll give you a point system and what they'll ding you on, and then overall you're going to get what's called a Bayesian spam probability. They use a Bayesian spam filter, and in this particular case you can see I'm so negative already that there's no reason my email shouldn't get delivered. So if, for those of you, I have one client that was using the word specialism in the UK and it contained the word Cialis, they were getting dinged. Sometimes you don't even realize you may use legitimate words that contain parts of other words that are considered objectionable. In this particular one, they didn't like click here, type here. This one was dinged a half of a point because of small font sizes, which, as you know, you get lots of in sometimes spammy messages, little teeny weeny fonts of disclosures and other types of things. So this is a really good, method to use to make sure that legitimate email marketers can get through spam filters and get their mail delivered, because we're all competing with spammers and we have to figure out how to distinguish ourselves. This particular thing is an alert. I mentioned earlier that you could trigger alerts to a sales rep right off a click. This is an example of where a sales rep would receive that at that specific date and time, they would instantly receive this, that their prospect from Heritage Doors at this email, this date and time, fulfilled literature. So this is the kind of real-time action that IntelliClick takes, and I wanted to give you an example of that. In my outbox, I actually have 2 emails queued, and I wanted to just show you some of the bundled landing pages. So for example, if I were to, I had referred to that call me button. What we did is we took an IntelliClick intelligent click and we hyperlinked this graphic called call me. And what happens is when someone clicks on that, it puts them on a bundled landing page. So IntelliClick comes with all of these bundled landing pages. You don't have to worry about what your landing pages are. It's completely private to you. So you have to envision, in this particular landing page, it's saying to the prospect, you know, William Buckley, thank you for your interest. A representative has been notified and will be calling to follow up with you. So that's scheduling an instant alarmed phone call on the pending tab, as well as being able to send out an email alert or text message that this person is requesting a call back. So even if your sales reps are not in the office, they're not tethered to Goldmine, they can receive these kinds of instant alerts on their cell phones. The IntelliClick logo here, you need to envision as your company logo. So when we install you, we drop in your custom logo. So no one's ever going to see Powered by IntelliClick anywhere with the IntelliClick logo anywhere. Our goal is to make it look as though you are sending out a professional email marketing campaign and you're actually not using any type of an outside service. So you can see that you're basically just sending right from Goldmine. You're not uploading any data. You're not using anyone else's service per se. You're basically just sending from your own database and dropping in your own logo. So that's an example of a bundled landing page. There's many others here. One of the bundled landing pages that we include that I wanted to show you, which I think is a tremendous integration and makes our forward to others very unique. If I click on forward to a friend, it's going to put me on a bundled landing page that allows me to refer many people. Now, it could be you know, one person, but if I filled in this form and I hit proceed, it would give me the ability to insert another person and send this email to them. But our forward to others is very unique, and I have put an example in the system. I'm going to bring it in live. I want to show you what happens. So again, remember that your logo is dropped in on our forward to others. So if I go back into Goldmine here, into my email inbox here, let's see. Let me just see where I think it's the next one here is what I want. This forward to others is designed to integrate directly with the web import, the native web import email capability of Goldmine. For those of you, let me just see if I can get my email that's out there. Let's start this over again. For those of you, let me just give you the background. For those of you that are not familiar with web import, Goldmine has the ability to create these special web import forms. And what that means is that if someone hits your website, they can fill out a form and you can have that form be automatically brought into Goldmine. So what we did was with the forward to others, here I'm finally being able to get out online, and here's my forward to others submission. What I did is I referred myself into the database. So you can see here this looks like a web import for those of you that are familiar with it, but this web import is very unique. When we click here, we create the record automatically, and we send a welcome email to the person that was referred. You can see there it created my record in the tab in the background, and it's sending me a welcome email, which will also track me if I click on it. So I now, when I click behind here, have a new record in Goldmine with Pamela Pearl. It tells me that this person, Eric Erickson, was the person that referred this new prospect, Pamela Pearl, and it shows me in history that an email was sent out, and then if Pamela Pearl begins to click, it will then come back in the Click Track tab. So what does this all mean? This means you can take advantage of the amazing automated process capability of Goldmine. You could trigger anything off that web import email. The bottom line is that web import email comes to your system. You double click and bring it in, and it creates the record for you and tells you who the source of the referral was. You then have the ability to do anything you want off of that. In this particular case, we sent out an email. You may decide that you'd prefer to schedule a phone call to call the new prospect. You may send an email and schedule a phone call. The automated process capability of Goldmine allows you to trigger different activities. And for those of you that work actively with Goldmine partners, this is something they know how to do. So you will be able to say to your partner, okay, we got this far with IntelliClick, it brought it in, created the record, now take it the next step, send the email that we want, schedule the phone call that we want. So again, everything is designed to tie back in to that sales process and make it easy for you, make it easy for your customers to refer, and make it easy for you to then communicate with the new prospect and then track them if they want to respond to your campaign. So in the last few minutes, I want to quickly show you a couple of reports, and I want to show you the pricing. Now, the first thing is that in the report center, as you all know, IntelliClick, Goldmine itself comes bundled with Crystal Reports. It's really the most robust report writer available today. It's bundled when you purchase Goldmine. Many of you may be familiar with Goldmine reporting, but there's also that added capability of Crystal reporting, which can be extremely powerful if you decide to use it. Either way, when we install IntelliClick, you will be able to take advantage of all of these reports. Now, I want to distinguish why I feel we are very different. Not only do we create statistical reporting, and I'm going to show you raw statistics, but we have analytical reporting. So you'll see in a moment, I'm going to run this first report, and it's just going to be raw statistics, breakdowns of a campaign, something that maybe you've seen if you've done email marketing before. You won't see the intelligent clicks, but you might see the opens, the unsubscribes, that type of thing. So I want to just point out to you, I'm going to just kind of walk you through this. It's pretty much just going to break down, if we look at this campaign, this first responder, it says I sent 432 emails, I had 82 opens, it was a 19% open rate. You can see then I had 49 click-throughs, that was an 11% response rate. And then they went to our website. This is now starting to get new. We had almost a 25% response rate on our web nav. We had 2.8% callbacks. A small amount of people signed up, and then maybe we had one or two that referred to others, which makes sense. Down here, if you went into event reg and lit fulfillment on this campaign, you can see we had a 7% event registration response. Lit fulfill was an 11% response rate. So this is raw statistical data. You would benchmark yourself for your industry. Now, if I want to open this up, of course I'm going to be able to get the breakdown. So I had 101 opens, the date, the time, the company, the person who opened it, the email that opened it, and so on. As I click through, if I expand the website visits, it's going to tell you exactly by URL where these people went. If I were to look at event registration, I'll show you this because it's kind of similar to attendance tracking, where you get a list of all of the events based on date and time, the type of event it is, and you'll get a breakdown by company and the person that registered. So again, raw statistics. But let's take this to the next level. Let's convert these raw statistics into analytics that you can take action on in real time. So what that looks like is I'm going to run the top summary report. This is top leads. So I'm going to take one of these campaigns here and ask it to deliver top 10 leads for me. And you could get top 15, top 5, however you want. So let's take the Imagine campaign, and you can see here it's asking me how many leads do I want, what's the date range that I want to look at this. Let's just go back. We have some data in here back to the beginning of the year that I put in our database. And let's go through to today's date. Now, I want to mention what analytics are in this particular report. What we're doing is we're assigning a weighted value in order of magnitude of interest shown in response to campaigns. So you all know that if someone does an open track, if they open, maybe they unsubscribed, maybe they didn't read it, maybe they deleted it. We don't really have a sense of whether that person's interested, so it doesn't get a whole lot of weighting. What it does do is it tells you if you were delivered to their inbox. I think that's very valuable for that purpose. But if they physically clicked through on a hyperlink, they started to navigate your website, they asked for literature, they spent time with you like what you're doing today, or they've asked for an immediate phone call back, that becomes a much more powerful weighted factor as we gather our top leads. And it becomes really evident in this report. So I'll just show you this graphical breakdown. These people up here are showing a real readiness to purchase. They are not going to waste your time or their time on valuable products and services unless they really have a keen interest in purchasing. As you pare back on their activity, you'll see that down here in the lower levels, as you start to contact these people, they love what you do. They may not have the budget. Maybe they were doing the initial research to put a budget in place for the following year. Maybe they're waiting to hire a resource that will be able to actually implement your products and services. So there's lots of different reasons why people show interest, but they're not necessarily ready to purchase at that time. But what's absolutely critical is that this information is in the hands of the sales team so that they can do their job. They're taking the necessary steps to then nurture and follow up on those leads until they do have a readiness to purchase. So that, to me, is really the distinction between raw statistics and analytical reporting. Some other kinds of analysis that I mentioned are top web leads. You know, this is going to take into account website navigation behavior. When we run this report, we'll do it again on the Imagine campaign. When we run this report, what this is doing is saying, let's just pull the people that really showed interest in our website. So you'll know I mentioned earlier that if somebody just hits the home page that you direct to them to and they leave, maybe they've disqualified themselves. Maybe they've done you a favor. You don't have to waste your time on trying to follow up and sell to them. So what you can do is you can put in larger numbers here and say, you know what, unless they navigated at least 5 different pages on my website, don't bundle them into this report. So if I run the same report all over again, we will actually get different results. And you'll see that the breakdown of this report is quite different. This report is designed to be viewed by a sales rep almost as if it's an account summary planning report. So if you're in the sales area, you know that sometimes you get a breakdown of a summary planning report for the day that might look like, you know, when's the last time we contacted these people, what happened last, what's the next scheduled thing to occur, give me the person's name, their phone, their email. But this is now broken down by the digital body language. So you can see here, as I go to the next page, I'm getting 13 WebNav clicks here. And what's really interesting and unique that I wanted to point out is people who show a real keen interest will often go to your website, do initial research, leave and come back later. Sometimes they come back a month later. It could be 3 weeks later. In this particular case, it's a day later. But you can pretty much see that they showed interest on this day in these areas, then they came back the following day and they were doing further research. So as I click through here, you can see that it's only going to pull up web navs of a certain number. So I said 5 web navs or more. So these are really the top leads that I want to go after from the perspective of showing behavioral interest on our website. Some of the other reports, I kind of showed you a peek of event tracking. This is going to give you a list of literature fulfillment and unsubscribe. This report, as I had shown you before when we scrubbed our data, I'll just show you that in hard format because I want to just point out that we will give you the names of people that reported you as spam. Now either way, we are flagging those so that you can't send emails to them because that is the last thing that you want to do. But you might want to know who reported you as spam. So in this report, you can see here, these are the emails from that campaign that were reported as spam. These are unsubscribes. These are hard bounces. So I wanted to just point out we also bundle in that database hygiene reporting as well. There's many, many other reports. This particular one breaks down by all those key fields that I discussed. If I were to run this report, and it's just something to keep in mind, if you implement IntelliClick and you're in the process of kind of looking over your Goldmine configuration, I wanted to just point out that we designed this report to break by all of those key 5 fields. So when it comes up for me, you'll see that it's going to look at those fields, and I could run, let's say, this report by the rep if I have a key field. If one of my key fields is by rep or geography or rank, territory, SIC, all the different ways that you and your partner work together to track and profile your prospects and customers. Those are some of the other kinds of analytical reports. I wanted to also mention that we offer real-time dashboarding. For those of you that are on the latest versions of Goldmine, you know that they've now bundled in beautiful management and sales dashboards. If you're not using them, I would encourage you to use them. We now have bundled in an IntelliClick dashboard, and you can see that I can dynamically look at data on the screen, and I can even go and see, okay, let's look at just the numbers of opens, or let's look at the specific click tracks, or let's look at this campaign and I want to see what the web navs were. And I have the ability, I had a filter on there, I had the ability to just see, okay, just show me those that navigated, let's say, 7 times, or those that navigated 10 times, and so on. Here's 5 times. We get a few more people. So you get to take advantage of a lot of those summaries, filtering, grouping, those kinds of things that you can do in other areas of Goldmine. So it's really kind of interesting and unique, and I love this new dashboard capability. So again, another way to dynamically view data. You get to change parameters here, that type of thing. So those are the dashboards. So the final place I would like to go with you today is to pricing. So let me just get back into my PowerPoint here. And I'm going to skip the next slide. Well, I'll go through it really fast. This is pretty much just what I showed you. I said step 1 is prepare your HTML. You're going to send to your group with IntelliSend. You're going to track in real time. You get your website navigation tracking, all of the alerts and autoresponders. Those are the bundled landing pages we talked about with your logo dropped in, and the bundled reporting and dashboarding. So I'll kind of move along onto pricing. So the way that IntelliClick works with pricing is we have 3 different flavors of IntelliClick. So one is annual subscription, which is limited or unlimited, and then one is an annual light subscription. So let's talk about the annual light first. What this does is it gives you the ability to track all opens, all hyperlink click-throughs that I talked to you about, where you direct people out to the website or you direct them to a white paper, any type of hyperlink you could insert, and unsubscribes, as well as sending email alerts to your reps. So this gives you the ability to instantly alert your reps off a click. This comes bundled with 6,000 emails a month or 72,000 a year. We do rolling averages, so very different than others. So you will get a relay report, and we'll let you know if you need to up it if you're consistently going over your relay. And the cost for that is $14.95. The year 1 cost includes software setup, training, support, everything you need, as well as your SMTP relay emails, tracked units. And then in year 2, when you're already set up and you're just renewing, it's a lot lower. It's $6.95 in year 2. So very, very good value for this. And then you just basically get all of the features I discussed, including all of that, scrubbing of your database, the HTML editor, all of that. The other piece here are for companies that want to take advantage of website navigation. In other words, their website is great. They love the content. They want to see who's navigating. They want it back into Goldmine. And they also want to take advantage of all of those intelligent hyperlinks that I talked about. We talked about the event registration, literature fulfillment, forward to others, newsletter opt-ins. Those are all of those more intelligent hyperlinks that I talked about when I went to the right of the wizard versus going to the web page hyperlink to the left of the wizard. And that full version of IntelliClick can start at $10,000 a month. So these are really for companies that are doing tens of thousands of emails annually. You can see the bundle there is $120 per year. Or there's companies that are really doing hundreds of thousands of emails per year, and they really belong in the what we refer to as the annual unlimited subscription, and that is with 25,000 emails a month or 300,000 a year. Now, in any of these, it is very inexpensive to up that amount of volume per month. So as an example, if I wanted to do IntelliClick Lite and I wanted to move from 6,000 to 7,000 emails a month, I could then pay $1 per thousand per month, or $12 total per year to have 7,000 emails, or $18 a year to have 7,500 emails per year, per month, and then that total per year. So very inexpensive if you're kind of just on that border and you need to up it a little bit. Again, if you're on the border, sometimes companies don't know, maybe they want to start off slower, they want to ramp up. We give you the ability to, upgrade just, the straight cost of the upgrade, paying the difference within 90 days so that you can decide what you need for your company. There is one other version of IntelliClick that I don't have the pricing here. That is called a premise-based solution. It's a custom solution for companies that want to bring this entirely into their own company, manage it in-house. We're not in the mix of delivering a click to you. You may have your own dedicated IP address. You want to send through an alternate dedicated IP. These are for companies that are sending out, a lot more mass communication, and they want to be able to manage everything in-house. We still install it and we support you, but we're not in the mix with the click. So that is another solution that we offer. If you have interest in premise, please let us know or contact your partner. They should know. And then finally, I just want to put my information on the screen so that you can get in touch with me. Feel free to get in touch with me. I'm happy to respond to anything, no silly questions. And I wanted to make sure that I ended on time. I can't believe it. I made it, within 2 minutes before 11 o'clock. So I just want to thank you again, and feel free to get in touch. I hope it's a good fit for you, and if you decide to work with us, I look forward to getting in touch with you in the future. And I'm going to end the webinar now.